In 1941, the Romos, a family that lived in a small section house in Las Vegas, Nevada, and their father, Don Luciano, worked for Union Pacific as a railroad worker. He had immigrated to the United States during World War I in response to worker shortages. Like their Mexican neighbors, the Romos were intensely American. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Don Luciano knew what was in store for his 3 oldest sons, and there was never a question his boys would serve. For Don Luciano, all of his children were American, the United States was their country, and que era su deber protegerlo, it was their duty to protect it. Those young men who joined the military were my uncles, and my project highlights that they were far from unique. An estimated 400,000 Mexican Americans served in World War II, overwhelmingly in frontline combat positions and disproportionately to other nationalities. Mexican American soldiers from the Southwest experienced discrimination, segregation, and the threat of repatriation throughout their lives. Their treatment did not dissuade them from serving their country. Instead, it drove them to fight for it. In my dissertation, I argue that military service and service by men and women on the home front contributed to the emergence of a new wartime identity for Mexican Americans. This identity fused their Mexican heritage with their American citizenship, fueling the struggle for civil rights. I trace experiences of discrimination before the war and their actions during and after. My project fills a crucial gap in the historiography of the U.S. military, Mexican American history, and the civil rights movement. The war also affected gender in Mexican American families, which in turn affected Mexican American women's outlook on civil rights and the role they played in their community. These women worked in factories, became military nurses, joined the wax waves, or held USO dances, even though in many of their families it was unacceptable to work outside the home or go to dances unchaperoned. They used the backdrop of patriotism to support their country fighting a war while gaining more independence for themselves. Their wartime experiences and identity led them to continue their activism in the civil rights movement. Mexican Americans fought Nazism and fascism in Europe and the Pacific, and when they returned home, they were no longer willing to accept second-class citizenship. They used the GI Bill, joined unions, American legions, and civil rights groups that fought discrimination and segregation in their community. I, too, am a Mexican-American veteran, and I believe, especially in our current political climate, which says that immigrants only take from America, it is important to remember the role that immigrants and second-generation Americans had in defending their country during its time of need. Thank you.